What's up, you glorious bastards? Back for another deep dive with yours truly. And today, we're going head first into the F-bombing Uzi. You know it. You've probably seen it in movies or blasted away with it in video games. But let's cut the crap and get into the nitty-gritty of this legendary piece of hardware. I got a resident weapons expert here to break it all down.
Oh, yeah?
Ready to school us on the Uzi.
Let's do this.
All right. First things first. Where the hell did this thing even come from?
Well, to understand the Uzi, you gotta understand, Israel in the late 1940s, they were fresh out the gate as a nation, surrounded by enemies, and shit was hitting the fan. They needed firepower, and they needed it yesterday.
Some desperate times calling for some desperate measures.
You got it. Enter this badass Israeli officer, Uziel Gal. Dude designs this beast of a submachine gun, and get this, he didn't even want it named after him.
Wait, seriously? That's kind of humble for a dude who invented such a badass weapon.
Apparently, Gal was all about practicality, not ego, but the name stuck, and the Uzi became a goddamn icon.
Okay, so we got a pissed-off nation, a humble inventor, and a gun that needs a name. What's next in this origin story? What made the Uzi so damn special, so different from all the other guns out there?
The Uzi's secret sauce was its simplicity and practicality. Gal designed this thing to be easy to use, easy to fix, and easy to mass produce. Think stamped metal, like making a car part. Instead of some fancy-ass machining, it was like the Toyota Corolla of submachine guns. Reliable, affordable, and everywhere.
So this wasn't just some flashy piece of hardware.
Yeah.
It was a workhorse built for getting shit done.
Yeah.
But what about the design itself? What made it tick?
One of the Uzi's key features was its open bolt system. Think of it like leaving your car engine running after a race. It helps to cool the damn thing down faster. The open bolt did the same for the Uzi, preventing it from overheating during rapid fire. Genius.
Yeah, but I bet there's a bet coming.
Of course. You leave any engine running too long, especially in a desert, things get clogged up with dust. The open bolt was great for cooling, but a real pain in the ass in sandy environments. It jammed like a motherfucker.
So, not exactly ideal for desert warfare, huh? Talk about a design flaw.
Yeah, it was a bit of a catch-22, but hey, no weapon is perfect, right?
True that. All right, what else made this thing so unique?
Another cool design feature was the telescoping bolt. It slides over the barrel, making the whole damn thing super compact. That's why the Uzi is so small compared to other submachine guns.
Okay, compact size.
Yeah.
Easy to use, cheap to make, sounds like the perfect weapon. So what's the catch? There's always a catch.
Well, that compact size came with a downside. That telescoping bolt made firing from a prone position, lying down.
It's super awkward.
Imagine trying to aim that thing while hugging the dirt.
So, it was a badass in close quarters, but not so much for long-range engagements.
Pretty much.
So how the hell did this thing go? From a gun designed for a brand new country to being used all over the world?
Because it was so damn effective. The Uzi was a game changer for close quarters combat, especially in urban environments. Word got around, and pretty soon everyone wanted a piece of the action.
Hold on. So we're talking about more than just Israel using this thing.
Way more. We're talking over 90 countries. From the jungles of Vietnam to the streets of Rio, this little gun made a name for itself. Hell. Even the U.S. Secret Service was packing Uzis during the Reagan assassination attempt.
Wait, seriously? The Secret Service rocking Uzis? That's wild. So it wasn't just some small-time player. This thing was everywhere.
It was like the Uzi was at every party. Everyone wanted an invite. Armies loved its compact size and firepower. Police forces loved its ease of use. And let's not forget about all the asshats in the criminal underworld who got their hands on them too. The Uzi was everywhere. Okay,
so this little Israeli gun becomes a global phenomenon. What happens next? Did you just keep making the same Uzi over and over?
Nah. They weren't stupid. IMI, the Israeli company that made the Uzi, knew they had to keep innovating. So they started coming out with different versions of the Uzi, each with its own tweaks and improvements.
Like Uzi 2.0, Uzi 3.0, and so on.
Exactly. They had the OG standard model. Then came the mini Uzi, an even smaller and lighter version. Then they shrunk it down even further with the micro Uzi.
Damn. They were really milking that Uzi cash cow, weren't they? Mini. Micro, what's next? A nano Uzi.
Don't give them any ideas. But yeah, they were all about making the Uzi more compact and versatile. They even came out with a carbine version for civilians who wanted a taste of that Uzi action.
Wait, civilians could get their hands on Uzis. Wasn't that a bit controversial?
You bet your ass it was. We'll dive into that whole civilian market bullshit later. But for now, let's stick with the military and law enforcement side of things.
Sounds good to me. But before we go there, I gotta ask, if this thing was so badass, Why did it eventually get replaced?
Yeah.
What was the Uzi's downfall?
Well, as much as I love the Uzi, it had its limitations, its range and accuracy and automatic fire. Let's just say it wasn't winning any marksmanship awards.
So basically, it was a beast up close.
Oh,
A bit of a wimp at long range.
you got it. Armies started needing weapons with more range and precision, especially as combat shifted to more open environments. And let's be real, the Uzi's open bolt design was still a pain in the ass in sandy environments. Those jams weren't going away.
So, the Uzi, a gun designed for tight spaces, wasn't so hot in open combat. That's kind of ironic, isn't it?
Irony is the Uzi's middle name.
All right, before we move on to the Uzi's fall from grace, let's talk about something that's been bugging me. We keep mentioning these different versions, the
Yeah.
mini, dot, the micro, and so on. Were these all official IMI creations? Or were there, like, bootleg Uzis floating around?
Oh, there were definitely bootleg Uzis, my friend. Lots of them. You see, the Uzi was so damn popular, everyone and their mother wanted to copy it. We're talking straight up Clone Wars of the Uzi.
Clone Wars. Okay, now I'm really intrigued. Let's unpack this whole cloning business.
Let's do it. So you got your straight up copies like the Croatian Yarrow, this beast made entirely of steel, tough as nails, but heavy as hell.
So less spray and pray, more like lift and pray with that one. My back hurts just thinking about lugging that thing around.
Yeah, the Croatians weren't messing around. And you had countries like Myanmar pumping out their own versions, the BA-93 and BA-94. Those are still kicking around today, wreaking havoc in all sorts of fucked up conflicts.
So everyone from Eastern Europe to Southeast Asia was ripping off the Uzi design. What the hell did anyone try to stop them? Patent laws? Lawsuits? Anything?
You think a little thing like a patent was going to stop some countries from getting their hands on a good gun design? Please, it was the Wild West out there, and get this. Even Hamas, those Palestinian militants, tried to clone the Uzi.
Hamas. That's a serious compliment to the Uzi's design coming from your enemies. Like that. So we've got all these countries, some shady as hell cranking out Uzi copies.
Yeah.
What was IMI, the original Uzi makers, doing about all this? Were they just sitting back and watching their design get ripped off left and right?
Nah, they weren't just twiddling their thumbs. They were busy coming up with new and improved Uzis, trying to stay ahead of the curve. But they also realized they could make some serious bank by selling to the civilian market.
The good old American gun nuts, always eager to get their hands on the latest and greatest firepower. So what did IMI cook up for the Uzi-loving public?
They came out with the Uzi carbine. Basically, it was a civilian legal version of the military Uzi with a few key differences.
Hold up, civilian legal. What does that even mean? Were they handing out Uzis at Walmart or something?
Not quite. See, in the U.S., you can't just waltz into a store and buy a full-auto machine gun. There are laws, regulations, all sorts of bureaucratic bullshit. So IMI had to make some changes to make the Uzi palatable to the feds.
So basically, they had to neuter the Uzi to make it legal for the average Joe to own. What kind of changes are we talking about?
First off, they had to lengthen the barrel to meet those pesky U.S. gun laws. Then they had to ditch the full auto capability, no more spray and pray. For the civilians, it was strictly semi-automatic, one squeeze, one bang.
It's like a tamed Uzi,
Yeah.
a declawed kitten compared to the military version.
Exactly. They had to make it safe for soccer moms and weekend warriors.
Yeah, that sucks. I mean, what's the point of owning an Uzi if you can't unleash its full fury? But hey, at least they could still own a piece of that Uzi legacy, right?
That was the whole idea. IMI knew the Uzi had this badass reputation, this iconic image from movies and TV shows. They wanted to capitalize on that, and it worked. The Uzi carbine was a hit.
So everyone was happy. The gun nuts got their Uzis. IMI made a ton of money, and the feds didn't have to worry about civilians running around with full auto weapons. Win-win-win, right?
Not so fast. The civilian Uzi market wasn't without its controversies.
Oh boy, here we go. Let's dive into this shitstorm. What went wrong?
Well, some folks just couldn't handle the responsibility of owning such a powerful weapon. There were accidents, negligent discharges, even a few high-profile shootings involving Uzis.
Damn, people never fail to disappoint. Give them a little bit of power, and they fuck it up for everyone.
It's human nature, I guess. So naturally, the politicians and the anti-gun lobby started making a lot of noise. They blamed the gun, not the idiot behind the trigger.
Typical, it's always easier to blame the object than to address the root of the problem.
Exactly. But you know how it is with politics. Perception is everything. The Uzi, once a symbol of freedom and ingenuity, started getting this reputation as a dangerous weapon, a killer's tool.
So the Uzi's image took a hit.
Big time.
So what did IMI do? Did they just shrug their shoulders and keep selling Uzis to anyone with a pulse and a wad of cash?
They tried to play both sides. They continued to market the Uzi carbine to law-abiding citizens, emphasizing its sporting and recreational uses, but they also started to distance themselves from the more controversial aspects of the gun. They didn't want the Uzi brand to become synonymous with violence and mayhem.
So it was all about protecting their bottom line, right? Money talks, bullshit walks.
You got it. They didn't want the bad press to hurt their sales to military and law enforcement agencies, which was their bread and butter.
So how did the whole civilian Uzi saga play out? Did they eventually ban them altogether?
Not exactly. In 1986, the U.S. passed the Firearm Owners Protection Act. This new law made it illegal to manufacture new machine guns for civilian sale.
Hold up, so they didn't ban Uzis outright, they just made it illegal to make new full-auto ones?
Exactly. It was a loophole, but it effectively shut down the civilian market for full-auto Uzis. Any full-auto Uzis that were already registered and in circulation became instant collector's items.
So the feds basically created this artificial scarcity which drove up the price of full-auto Uzis.
If you had a pre-1986 full-auto Uzi in your gun safe, you were sitting on a gold mine.
Damn, that's some fucked up economics right there. Plenish the law-abiding citizens while the criminals still find a way to get their hands on the good stuff.
It's the American way, my friend. But hey, IMI wasn't going down without a fight. They were determined to keep selling Uzis to the U.S. market, even with those pesky new laws.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What did those crafty Israelis come up with? How do you sell an Uzi when full auto is off the table?
They said, fine, you don't want full auto. How about a pistol? And that's how the Uzi pistol was born.
An Uzi pistol. Now that sounds interesting. Tell me more.
Basically, they took the micro Uzi, chopped off the stock, and called it a pistol. Still semi-auto only, of course. But it was small, compact, and packed a punch, and it fit neatly into a loophole in the law.
So they found a way to skirt around the regulations and still sell Uzis to Americans, clever bastards.
They were masters of adaptation. The Uzi pistol was marketed towards security agencies and civilian shooters who wanted a high-capacity pistol with that familiar Uzi look and feel.
Did it catch on? Did people actually buy this Uzi pistol thing?
Oh, yeah, it sold pretty well. It had a good run for about a decade, but like everything else, it eventually got overshadowed by newer, fancier pistols.
So the Uzi pistol was kind of like the awkward middle child of the Uzi family. Not as cool as the full auto versions, but still trying to make a name for itself.
That's a pretty good analogy, but hey, it served its purpose. It kept the Uzi name alive in the U.S. market, even when the full auto versions were off limits.
Okay, so we've got the carbine, the pistol.
Yeah.
Any other surprises in the Uzi family tree?
You bet. Remember how we talked about all those Uzi clones popping up all over the world? Well, IMI decided to get in on the cloning action themselves. They took their own micro Uzi and gave it a modern makeover.
Hold up, they cloned their own gun. That's some next level shit. What the hell were they thinking?
They were thinking, hey, if everyone else is copying our design, why not copy ourselves? But seriously, the micro Uzi was a classic design, but it was getting a bit long in the tooth. So IMI decided to give it a facelift, bring it into the 21st century. They called it the Uzi Pro.
Okay, so what's so pro about the Uzi Pro? What did they change?
First off, they ditched the old school metal parts and went with a polymer, lower receiver, lighter, more durable, and cheaper to manufacture. They also added some tactical rails so you could attach all sorts of goodies like scopes, lasers, and flashlights.
So you could trick that bad boy out and turn it into a real tactical beast.
You got it. And they even moved the charging handle to the left side, which was a nice touch for lefties.
So they made it more user-friendly, more modern, more versatile. Basically, they took a classic design and updated it for the modern shooter.
Exactly. The Uzi Pro was a smart move by IMI. It showed that even an old dog like the Uzi could learn new tricks.
Damn, the Uzi just keeps evolving, doesn't it? From its humble beginnings in Israel to this modern tactical masterpiece. It's a hell of a journey.
It really is. The Uzi story is a testament to human ingenuity, our ability to adapt and overcome.
Okay, before we get all philosophical and shit, I gotta ask, where does the Uzi stand today? Is it still relevant in the modern world of high-tech weaponry? Or is it just a relic of the past, something you see in museums and old war movies?
That's a great question, and it's one that's been debated by military experts and gun enthusiasts for years. That's a great question, and it's one that's been debated by military experts and gun enthusiasts for years.
Well, let's hear it. What's the verdict?
The Uzi might not be the go-to weapon it once was, but it's far from obsolete.
Okay, spill the beans. Why is that?
Several reasons. First off, the Uzi is still a damn effective weapon in close quarters combat. It's reliable, easy to handle, and packs a serious punch.
So for urban warfare, hostage rescue situations, that sort of thing, the Uzi's still a viable option.
Absolutely. And let's not forget about its compact size. It's perfect for concealed carry, for personal protection, for situations where you need a discreet
and a powerful weapon.
So, even though armies might be moving on to bigger and badder guns, the Uzi still has its niche. Exactly. And let's be real. The Uzi has this cool factor that never goes out of style. It's iconic, it's recognizable, it's got that badass reputation.
So it's more than just a weapon, it's a symbol.
It is. It's a symbol of resilience, of innovation, of that never say die attitude.
Damn. I'm starting to feel a bit patriotic about this little Israeli gun.
Don't worry, you're not alone.
Yeah.
The Uzi has a way of capturing people's imaginations, even if they've never fired a gun in their life.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. From the Uzi's birth in a war-torn nation to its global domination, its civilian controversies, and its eventual evolution into a modern tactical weapon. It's been quite a ride.
It has. The Uzi's story is a microcosm of history itself, filled with triumphs and tragedies, innovations and imitations.
But where do we go from here? What's the future hold for the Uzi? Is it destined to fade into obscurity? Or will it continue to evolve and adapt to the ever-changing world of warfare and personal defense? I don't know. Guess we'll have to wait and see. But one thing's for sure, the Uzi has left its mark on the world, and its story is far from over. So to all you glorious bastards out there, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of the Uzi. Hopefully you learned a thing or two, had a few laughs, and maybe even gained a new appreciation for this legendary little gun. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and as always, stay strapped.
And stay safe out there.
Catch you fuckers on the next deep dive.